Welcome back to Hardcore Ultimate Iron Man. After last episode, completing Monkey Madness 2 and purchasing the Crystal Bow, I was completely broke again. So I came over here to Ardoin, thieved from some knights. Now we're back up to 355k, which is at least something. But the cost of the Crystal Bow does not end yet. We can store this in a stash unit. A master stash unit. Which needs a gold leaf. Because of course it does. There's already a crystal bow in here. So that's unfortunate. I did not have that on my list of stashes that I had filled. Oops. Well, we have wasted 900,000 coins. That's great. Well, we can store the one that has more charges, I guess. Wow. Okay. Fascinating. Well, now I have this gold leaf, so I might as well do something with it. I'm going to build the quest list space with the gold leaf and 10 papyrus. Looks fancy on the wall, and we can read it. Oh boy, look at that. Most quests completed. 249 quest points. Not too shabby. And then we can take the crystal bow here, with only 500 charges remaining. And if we had any fire runes, we can alch it. We can't alch it. It says it has a high alch value. Apparently that's a lie. Alright. Revert crystal bow. Receive 1 crystal weapon seed, but no crystal shards. That wasn't a thing I was going to get anyways. Okay. Yes. I don't need a crystal bow at all. I have one. It's in a box now. Now we have a crystal weapon seed with a GE value of 300k. We could theoretically keep this and make like a crystal shield or something. But realistically, a crystal shield's not that much better than a dragon square. Especially for the purposes we would need it for. So, just going to get rid of this. And that's okay. I spent 900,000 coins on my Hardcore Ultimate Iron Man to make 300k on a main account. Excellently done. And now I want things from the looting bag. Once more. In the wilderness. Destroy. We got plenty of inventory space. This time. So we can pick up all the stuff. I'm going to need... Well, barely. I'm barely going to need some of these things for what we're doing today. But first, a bit of AFK. And here we have 84 strength and 84 defense. 2 levels, which I timed to get at the same time there, which are going to be totally necessary. Sarcasm. For what we're doing next. If we look at the quests we have left to complete, and go into the sorting here by difficulty, we can see 2 Novice quests. Eagle's Peak and a Poor Sign of Interest. Doesn't get much more relaxed after a Grandmaster than some Novice quests. And that's what I'm going to do. First up, a Poor Sign of Interest. Starting here at this notice board. There are damaged roof tiles for sale. Bob's Axes has an advertisement. Ned is looking to start a new window fund. But more interestingly, someone's looking for someone to slay a monster. Reward offered. Talk to Sarah at the nearby farm. Start. A poor sign of interest. Sarah is also the farming store owner here. So let's see what monster they want slain. Hear about the bounty. Something needs to be done. They were making a delivery to the sheared ram in Lumbridge, traveling along the road near the Draenor Village crossroads. And then, a monster attacked. It chased her for a short distance, and Rosie, the dog over here, managed to scare it off. Very frightening thing to happen. And she had to abandon her cart full of produce. What did the monster look like? She did not get a good look at it. It was dark, and she was running for her life. So, what she does remember is a horrible grunting, squealing sound. For finding this thing, that's our job. We can start by looking around the area where she was attacked. Makes sense. And Rosie, that's a dog. Yep. I think we can manage this. At the Draenor crossroads, here's the damaged cart in question. Looks like something ran off with most of the produce, heading to the northeast. And also apparently dropping tons of it. So we follow the trail, past the goblins, apparently not involved, and we find a strange hole. As opposed to normal holes that we find typically everywhere. Add a rope and climb on down. Here's a pile of rope. Very convenient. And also a pile of carrots. Wandering further into the cave, we find even more carrots. Another ominous hole further in. And a skeleton. The bones look gnawed, which is not good. But he also has a note. They were exploring this cave and got trapped down here when their rope fell off. They're just waiting for rescue. But rescue clearly never came. And then they were gnawed on, so it's right behind me, isn't it? Nice piggy. And it spits in my face. Gets it all up in my eyes, which is not great. They're just lying here, incapacitated. Doing a great job of hunting down the monster. Do we look tasty? I hope not. Seems to be leaving us alone. We're still alive, though, which counts for something. And here comes Spria. What do we have here? Me. Being a disaster. And so she's gonna save us. Wasn't in time to save that other guy. But I appreciate it. Hey there. I'm finally awake. She is a Slayer Master. And we had that nasty encounter with a Sour Hog. That giant pig monster. Yep. It was just going to leave us there for a few more hours and then eat us. So that's not great. We are the worst bounty hunter ever. Seemed like it would be easy. We immediately get in over our heads, of course. We were knocked unconscious by the spitting attack directly in our eyes. It's extremely acidic, and the eyes are the most vulnerable spot. We need to learn how to defend ourselves from that. With Slayer. Useful equipment and techniques for dealing with special foes. For the Sour Hogs, we need reinforced goggles. Will protect us from the spitting attack, and then we can just fight normally. They're also resistant to slashing and magic damage, but I'm sure we'll be fine. And now we can go claim the bounty with our new stylish goggles. And then she wants us to come back and talk to her after we're done. Very cool. Look at these goggles. Yep. That'll protect my eyes from the acid. Not the rest of my face. Or anywhere else. But it's a start at least. Back in the hole. And there it is. Let the epic boss battle commence. Fight to the death. Against the Sour Hog, which is level 37. It's resistant to slash attacks, but we also have 84 attack, so I think we'll be fine. And we win. And I would just cut the foot off to prove that we have defeated the monster. And we can head back to Sarah. I'm back, Sarah. How about that bounty? It won't be troubling you anymore. And of course I brought proof. It's a hoof. Slash just a foot. It's a hoof. That looks about right. I could have just taken this from any random thing, but it definitely matches the description she gave, so. And it also smells terrible, but she's just going to give it to the dog. Spria was also here, right after I left. But now, our reward. 5,000 coins. Not bad. Now we can go talk to Spria. Also, we can now pet Rosie. That's a reward in itself, I'd say. And I return victorious. Sour Hog defeated. Bounty claimed. I'm a very impressive slayer. The goggles worked perfectly. Unfortunately, sour hogs live in tribes, so there's probably a whole bunch more. She's going to monitor the lair and keep the population in check with Slayer tasks. Since we have unlocked the ability to craft Slayer helms, we can now add the reinforced goggles to it to gain that benefit too. And she's also going to upgrade our existing Slayer helms. During that fade to black, Spear ran over to the Warriors Guild, slapped some goggles in my helmet, and came back. Quest complete. 1 quest point. 1,000 Slayer XP. 30 Slayer reward points. And we even get to keep the goggles. We also get Sour Hogs as a possible assignment from Spria and Turiel. It's not great, but it's okay. Because we're not really point boosting anymore anyways, so it's fine. Our helmet now has goggles in it, magically. And very appropriately, this quest point got us to 250, which unlocks the 5th Slayer block list slot. Very appropriate for the Slayer tutorial introduction type quest. And now we move from Slayer to Hunter. Over at the Ardoin Zoo, we talk to Charlie here. And he is very busy with zoo stuff. And that sounds like a quest to me. We can help. A few weeks ago, they had a ferret delivered. They're funny little creatures and very tricky. He managed to escape his cage, bit the delivery person on the way out too. And now they don't have a ferret for their attraction. So they got a huntsman called Nicholas to go and capture another one. But they have not heard from him for quite a while. So they want us to go and check on him. Start Eagle's Peak. The northern ferrets are found near the mountains west of Gnome Stronghold. So we just start looking around where the ferrets are and try to find Nicholas. Here are the ferrets here, and also a camp and some bird tracks. Let's inspect what we find here. It seems to be trampled into the ground, but the campfire is still burning. So it must have been very recently that all this happened. Looking through the books, we find one that catches our attention. And there's something poking out of the book. It's a bird book. And in the book, we find a metal feather. This is the Guide to Birds. We got crimson swifts, cerulean twitches, golden warblers, triple wagtails, copper longtails, and giant eagles. A bit of a story about bandits and eagles. The bandits befriended the eagles and used their nest as a hideout at the top of a mountain. And that's all the information I need to climb up a mountain and find a rocky outcrop with an interesting keyhole, which we can open and head inside the mountain, where we find another book, a feathered journal. This is from the bandits. They're going to raid the gnome stronghold. Although it doesn't go very well. All the eagles up in here, they're going to ride the eagles. Using a rope, they just dangle from the eagles. They got flown over the Arduin markets, where they fished up some bread. They're getting teleported away by random events. Overall, just a very weird time. Got some giant feathers. And Nicholas is here, along with a giant eagle. How you doing? He's not doing super great. He has found the nest of a giant eagle, so that's pretty exciting. Fun discovery. But he is also trapped. Well, technically, we have found him, so I think our job here is done. He was supposed to get a ferret, but then he's got preoccupied with all this. You're trapped, aren't you? That's a very negative way of looking at it. But it's true. He had a plan to escape, but that was before he got stuck over here in the nest. Anything I can do to help? His plan is to trick the eagles into thinking that he is an eagle by making some disguises at the fancy dress shop in Varrock. And I also will need a disguise too. We got tons of giant feathers around here, so that's a good start. Gonna pick up a bunch of these and head to Varrock. We look like someone that goes to a lot of fancy dress parties. What do you mean by that? We need your help making some bird costumes. Giant eagles, in particular. He doesn't have any of those costumes in stock, but he can make them with giant eagle feathers, which we have. And some yellow dye for the beak. Here's your materials. And 50 gold. That's fine. 2 eagle costumes. Amazing. I'm not entirely convinced that these are going to fool an eagle, but that's the plan. That's the plan. Alright, Nicholas. I'm back. He's still not been able to convince the eagle to let him leave. But we have the disguises ready to go. We need to bring it to him, though. And that's going to be a little more difficult than we'd first let on. There's a giant stone door blocking our path. And it needs some keys. 1 key through each of these tunnels. This is the last one I'm doing. Oh, we're already here. This is a lever puzzle. Grab a whole bunch of bird seed here. And we can start moving the metal eagles by putting bird seed in special bird feeders in order to get over there to the golden feather on the stone pedestal. Naturally, this is going to take multiple steps. No surprises there. Because we also need to get to various levers. But the birds and gates are blocking those. So, put the bird seed in the feeder, and the bird will come over. Which is not what we wanted to do. So, instead of doing that, we need to go reset the puzzle. Which luckily is possible. Reset. We could also probably have went around and put it over there. But honestly, it's just faster to just go over here. We need to pull this lever. That's actually what we need to do first. This closes some gates, but opens some other ones, allowing us access to more of the puzzle area. And now, we can use the bird seed. We want to get over to this lever. We have 2 birds in the way, which we can move with the bird seed. And then run around the outside here to the now accessible lever, which moves some other gates. And that entire wing of the puzzle was just to pull that lever so we can close that area off again back here at the first level. And now, the southern part. Here we have a bird here, which we don't want here. And a bird here, which we don't want here. But this stone gate makes things more difficult. This one tries to go first and bounces back. But it actually allows us to move this one here, which gets us to the next lever. Fantastic. Ideal. And this opens that, but closes this one. It's all quite something. We still need to get this one out of the way. But now this one can't even go back. But now we have access to this other lever over here. So we can move this bird. There's only so many possible combinations of things you can do in this puzzle. It looks a bit more complicated than it really is. At any one point, you really only have access to a few things. So even just trial and error can get you to the end here eventually. Well, we pulled that lever. That's moved more of these stone gates. So now, we can put this one back, because we don't need to pull this lever again. And then we can move the one in the middle out of the way. Comes down and stops. And then the other one doesn't even bother trying to move, because it knows it can't get over there, I guess. But that is the puzzle. We just walk over here to the pedestal and grab a golden feather. 2 to go. Further into the caves, we have another tunnel, which leads directly to another stone pedestal. But this time, there's nothing on it. But we find some footprints leading away. So that means something took the feather. If we search around, we can find the tracks leading to an opening. And inside, there is a cubet. We take the key, feather, thing, by taunting him away. A very simplified version of the tracking hunter method here. Not a whole bunch of extra things that don't progress the tracks. And lastly, through another tunnel, we've got a pedestal that's totally not a trap. So we're just going to grab the feather. Oh, now it is hanging from the ceiling. Alright. So we're just going to run around the room, operating all of the winches. No particular order or anything. Just kind of cranking them as far as they'll go. And that sets the pedestal back down. Now we have the bronze, silver, and gold feathers, which we plug in to a stone door, because of course we do. This was one of the bandits' mechanisms here. The cabot, the traps, the puzzles, made things very complicated for them. But it is a secret base, so might as well. The eagle accepts us as one of their own. And we can give Nicholas his disguise. Let's get out of here. There's no way the eagles will possibly be able to tell. So he's heading down to the campsite. Over in here, we can see that the bandit's lair has been thoroughly trashed. They're no longer here. So we're just gonna head out. Back down the mountain. Nicholas has escaped. And so, now, we can get those ferrets. And even better than just giving us a ferret to bring back to the zoo, he's going to teach us how to hunt them. Neat. Very neat. And it is a box trap. We've also baited it, and now we wait. Here comes a ferret. Right inside. One gift-wrapped ferret, ready for delivery. Yoink. Very good. Very good. And then we just head back to the zoo here. Ferret in tow. I got the arty cloak for teleporting here. Just bought it back from Purdue. Very cheap. I have been successful with getting that ferret and finding Nicholas. He was abducted by giant eagles, but I rescued him. And that is all they needed from me. And here's the ferret. Fantastic. 2 quest points, 2,500 Hunter XP, the Eagle Transport Network, and the ability to use box traps. Box traps will be very good for hunting chinchompas. Get some range train in there. Even though we do still have all these darts. Chinchompas are definitely faster, but less AFK. Need to worry about like prayer and stuff. But we also got the Eagle Transportation Network. Let's go mess around with that. Back in Eagle's Peak, way at the end of the dungeon, we have a Desert Eagle, Jungle Eagle, and Polar Eagle, which we can lasso with a rope, and they will fly us out while we scream, trailing behind them on the rope. And doing these are medium tasks for multiple locations. Polar was Fremnik medium. Desert, which has the same animation here, except for the Desert Eagle, of course, is a desert medium task. And Jungle Eagle. Still screaming, still not used to this. Is a Western Provinces medium task. But in order to actually make full use of these transportation networks, we need to unlock 2 of the 3 locations. There is a boulder in the way here, which we can't push from this side, so we need to come around from the desert. And then at the jungle location, we can leave, but we can't get back inside. So we need to fashion a way to exit. Well, we can exit, we need to fashion a way to enter again. There's a young vine here, which isn't tall or strong enough. So we give it a stick so it can grow up to the entrance. Eventually. The Eagle Network is not the most useful transportation network. Partially just from the locations that it brings you to, and the fact you need to bring a rope with you, depending on which one you enter. Just not ideal. It is an interesting option. Worth unlocking, I guess. The real reward for this quest is, well, 3 medium tasks and box traps. This is just a bonus. So we need to run all the way through the desert here. Theoretically, could be a faster way to get to the very northern tip of the desert here. Ferrying over to the jungle, and then use the rope. Not that there's really anything up here you really need to worry about, but in theory. Let's get this boulder out of the way. And there actually is rope spawns. So, depending on which way you go, it's an idea. Well, that is enough high-flying adventures on eagles. I'm feeling more cave inclined. So we're gonna head below ground and find some treasure. Next time. Goodbye.